Alhamdulillah, we praise God. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. And we bear witness that there is no God except the one God. It is very important for any person to know who God is, to really appreciate why millions of people fall into idol worship. Why do they leave God and idolize Muhammad or Jesus or Mary or Saint Francis or Saint Jude or some helpless creature? And the main reason is that the people do not know who God is. They do not appreciate the greatness of God. So my purpose in this sermon is to share with you some idea about the greatness of God. And to appreciate the greatness of God, we have to think of this universe that we are living in. Our planet Earth is part of the solar system, as you all know. And by the way, I'm going to talk to you strictly about scientific facts, established scientific facts. This Earth is part of the solar system. It is the only planet in the solar system that has life. We went to the moon and we didn't see a single tree there or a mouse. Nothing. We sent cameras to Mars and we didn't see a creature there, unless those rocks are creatures, as we saw in one of the cartoons. There is no life in the solar system except here on the planet Earth. Our sun, the center of this solar system, is 93 million miles away. Now I want you to watch these distances. 93 million miles away from us, the sun. And the light comes to us from the sun in 4 minutes. So remember this relationship. The light travels from the sun to the earth 93 million miles in 4 minutes. The solar system itself spans a distance of 2 billion to 4 billion miles. This is our solar system. So when you go to the edge of our solar system, if you travel 2 billion with a B, 2 billion miles away, how big is the planet Earth from that point? It will seem small. Okay, let us now go a little further. Let us talk about the galaxy, our galaxy. As you know, it is called the Milky Way galaxy. And the solar system is one, the sun of the solar system is one of 1 billion suns or stars in our Milky Way galaxy. It will take 4 minutes for the light to travel from the sun to the planet Earth, 93 million miles. You know how long it will take to cross the Milky Way galaxy? If you travel at the speed of light, you will cross the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy, in 100,000 years, not 4 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 1 hour, or 10 hours, or 10 days, or 10 years. It will take you 100,000 years to travel across the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy. Now, so if you go to the border, the edge of the Milky Way galaxy, and try to find the planet Earth, where is it? It's minute, isn't it? Just a tiny mote. You know, when you look in the sunlight and see these little things flying, those are called motes. And the Earth is not even that, within the Milky Way galaxy. Well, let us travel, let us go on a little further. Let us go to our next door galaxy, our neighbor. You know how far it is? Our neighbor galaxy? 2 million light years away. So if you're cooking something and you want to borrow some salt or some sugar from your neighbors, don't go to the next door galaxy. It will take you 2 million years going at the speed of light and 2 million years coming at the speed of light, and your cooking will be all gone. So 2 million light years from our galaxy to the next door galaxy. Now, so if you go to the next door galaxy and try to find the planet Earth in the Milky Way, what are your chances of seeing the planet Earth? Using the strongest possible imaginable telescope, can you find the planet Earth? How about your house? Or you? Or any human being like Jesus or Muhammad? Can you see them from that galaxy, our next door galaxy? Shall we move a little further? There are 1 billion galaxies in our universe. This is 1 billion with a B. A billion trillion stars in our galaxy. In our universe, excuse me. There are 1 billion galaxies in our universe. A billion trillion stars in our universe. Our universe now has distances of 10, 15, up to 26 billion light years. Distances within our universe. And you can easily imagine this now. If our next door galaxy, and these are all, I remind you, these are all scientific, established scientific facts. 26 billion light years within our universe. You have to agree with me that when you go to the edge of our universe, it is hopeless to try to find the planet Earth. It is such an insignificant speck in God's kingdom. It is an established physical fact that when you go, if you go to the edge of our universe, you cannot possibly see the planet Earth. You cannot possibly see the sun of our solar system, let alone the planet Earth. So that's our universe. Before we leave our universe, that's the next step. I would like to remind you that, in fact, I will do a calculation thing with you right now. Let us say the number of stars in our universe is not a billion, trillion. Let us just take a smaller number, quintillion. Quintillion. That's a smaller number of stars in our universe. And let us count from 1 to quintillion. Taking 1 second per count. It's like, let us say we're counting the stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 second per count. So we take 1 quintillion, divide by 60. You get the number of minutes it will take you to count from 1 to quintillion. Then you take this number and divide by 60 again, you get the number of hours it will take us to count from 1 to quintillion. Now you take this last product and divide by 24, and you get the number of days it will take you to count from 1 to quintillion. These are physical facts, as you see, just a simple dividing by the seconds, the minutes, the hours, and the days. Divide by 7, you get the number of weeks. Then you divide by 4, you get the number of months. You divide by 12, you get the number of years. It will take you to count, just count, a quintillion stars. You know how long it will take you? How many years? This is a mathematical, physical fact. It will take you 32 billion with a B, 32 billion years just to count a quintillion stars in our universe. And God created them. God didn't just count them, God created them And we are talking only about stars in our universe. We're not talking about the planets that go with those stars. We're not talking about the uncountable decillions of heavenly bodies and meteorites that are in our universe. We're talking only about stars. The sun is one of the stars, our sun. By the way, it is one of the dim stars. The bright stars, the definition of a bright star is it must be at least 1 million times as bright as our sun. Look outside and see how bright the sun is. A bright star has to be 1 million times as bright as this, as our sun. We had a conference here at the University of Arizona that dealt with bright stars only. And the sun was not one of them. Because, by definition, a bright star is 1 million times as bright as our sun. So it will take you 32 billion years just to count, not to create, just to count a quintillion of the billion trillion stars we have in our universe. That's our universe. Now, prepare for a shock. This universe, our universe, vast as we can imagine, is only one of 7 universes. And it is the smallest and the innermost of the 7 universes. This is a fact that is in the Quran, proven by the Quran's mathematical code. We are all now familiar with the mathematical code of the Quran that proves that every word is from God, that it is not written by a human being, that it is God's message to the world. And these mathematically proven statements say that our universe, with its billion trillion stars, 1 billion galaxies, 26 billion light-year distances, is the smallest and innermost of 7 universes. Can you imagine how big the second universe is? If our universe is 26 billion light-years across the second universe, can you imagine how big it is? How about the third universe? The fourth that is around these? You can imagine 7 balls inside each other. The fifth universe, I don't think you can imagine the size of the fifth universe. How about the sixth universe and the 7th? I can tell you right now, there is no number in the world that can describe or measure the circumference of the 7th universe. Actually, the first universe. We are the 7th universe, the innermost of the 7 universes. There is no number that will describe the circumference of the first universe. Now prepare for another shock. Most of you are familiar with that statement in the Quran in Surah 39, where God says He is holding the 7 universes within the fist of His hand. In Arabic, in the Quran, وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ مَطْوِيَّاتٌ بِيَمِينِهِ. God is not holding the 7 universes like this in 2 hands. God is holding the 7 universes in 1 hand. And this is allegorical description to give us an idea about the greatness of God and who God is. It's an allegorical idea to make us appreciate the greatness of God, and to make us appreciate and realize the blasphemy of saying that such great God has a human son on the tiny, tiny speck called the planet Earth. I mean, how can that be? We are a fortunate generation in that with the established scientific facts, we can appreciate the greatness of God. And God tells us who He is in His message to the world, the Quran. And with the sciences we now accomplish, we appreciate that greatness. And therefore, we can appreciate the grossness, the blasphemy of saying that God had a wife or a mother or a son. We can appreciate, we can realize how blasphemous, how terrible it is to say that God has a partner, another God with him. How can we idolize Muhammad, the tiny human being who existed on a tiny planet called Earth, in a tiny solar system? What was Muhammad's role in deciding the speed of rotation of the moon, for example? The moon rotates around itself and around the Earth. Yet, we always see one side of the moon, the same side of the moon. Because of the perfect, synchronized movement of the moon around itself and around the Earth, we see only one side. And if that movement was off by 1 second, we will see the other side of the moon. This precision in God's creation. What was the role of Muhammad or Jesus or Mary or St. Francis in deciding that speed of rotation of the moon? This elaborate system, everything going in its orbit precisely. We know exactly what time the sun will rise in the year 2025, July 4th, 2025. We know exactly, in Tucson, Arizona, for example, we know exactly what time will the sun rise and from what spot. Because the sun follows God's laws, God's creation, and follows the exact orbit. God is holding the 7 universes in his hand. That's who God is.